Hello and welcome back to Dragonborn Industries and our show Painting Up the Monster Manual. We're on episode 6, Richard. Episode fucking 6.
Oh my word. It's almost like we've been here forever.
It's been a journey, right? I think that
it's been a beautiful journey so far. Angelic, some might say.
Yeah, and I think for me it's been... I said the same to Alex during Hey Fluffy, during Two Guys One Cup, which we took a break off last week and we're back tonight with that. Episode 5 was like such a milestone for us to get to with that one, and the same for you last week when we did the Solar. And I think that hey Dibs, that getting 5 episodes of anything consistent it's fucking hard as a content creator. And like we were chatting about it before the show, and it was. Ooh, there's my music. Just kicking in there. Guys in the chat, if you can hear the music or not, let us know to turn it up, turn it down, whatever, and we'll go from there. But creating content, Richard, is so hard, and like keeping up with it is even harder, especially when we're both trying to be self-employed. Obviously, you with like the 3D printing, me with the dice making. Like I was rushing around this morning trying to get some stuff ready together, but I was like, you know what? I need to get the shows ready because I enjoy doing this with you. But I think that episode 5 milestone of the Solar was fun because the angels were such big creatures that it's hard to really showcase anything properly about them while we paint, and it's a real distraction while we're trying to paint. But now we're back to the animated armor. So do you want to tell us, Richard, who you are, where you're from, and more about these particular minis that you have sent out?
So I am Richard. I am from Warrior Prints 3D. We are a 3D printing company, handling anything from little wee minis to big statues to cosplay pieces to anything you can really think I can fit on the plate. It would be great. These minis are from Loot Studio, who are an exceptional band of sculptors.
They really are.
Who are heavily present within my D&D table. These are an animated armor piece, and the thing I love about these is the way they've sculpted them. You've got lots of breaks in between, so it does almost look like they are sort of floating.
Yeah,
just because of how it is an amazing little sculpt on this. I was tempted to print out a 75mm scale of these, just because they look cool, but I kept with a mini for now. They're on a nice a wooden floored base. And yeah, it should be a beautiful little model to paint.
Yeah, and I think that when you said about like the floating bits, it's not only a testament to Loot Studios on this one, it's a testament to yourself as a printer, Richard. Because I think that, not that you're a printer, but you're a 3D printing. Richard is the 3D printer, he shits them out. But
shit them out.
Man, that must be hard to pass.
Tricky because I did redo the supports myself on these because I don't always like their pre-supported files.
Yeah.
And I think the only error I made was on my one, because I sent you out the good one, is I broke off one piece of the helm on mine.
Oh no, mine looks great. I've got the 2 horns on there. I've got the little what is that called on top of a helmet where like it's like a ponytail?
I'd have to Google the name of it. I can't remember the appropriate name of that such thing.
Yeah, Dibs, Fluffy, anybody else in chat, if you know what that bit's called on top of a suit of armor, let us know.
Dibs, Google it for us.
Yeah. But no, it's like all those little floating bits, like the arms come up from the sword and the other one comes up from the other leg, and that's incredible. And like things like the little thin tabard. Dude, well done, man. Awesome print. Can you quickly, before we get any further, go roll up a level 3 character for me, please?
And I have just done so.
Awesome.
And we have... So today we have Gerald, the Dragonborn Wizard.
Oh, I think we're going to see Dragonborn Bard. Oh, I was like, Dragonborn Wizard.
Nearly.
That's perfect.
Nearly.
Perfect. I'm going to grab a couple of paints before I hit go. Luckily, now that we're on the animated objects, and for those of you watching, as we're working through the Monster Manual, either, feel free to grab your book and read along with us and stuff like that. But the animated objects, we're going down in CR now. So this is going to be a CR1. So this is based around an average party level of 1 for 4 players, where Richard will be playing a level 3 character. So hopefully it shouldn't be, 1, as hard of a fight as facing something like an angel.
Bloody solar.
Yeah, I mean, those things are designed to be epic level combats. They are past the level of which your characters can even grow to. Whereas this week, it's all about what you'd find in sort of dungeons and where you'd find in as minions in fights and stuff. So I think it's going to be a quicker combat, and I think it's going to be a lot easier for you to do. It's called A Type of Plume, Fluffy. Thank you very much. And yeah, we'll kind of just get to it with that one. I have a plan in mind. I don't think it's going to take me that long to paint these ones at all. And I'm going to run through my plan straight away. I'm going to dry brush the shit out of this. My primer is literally the Vallejo spray primer. I've done that through an airbrush because it's nice and thin, and I really wanted to give the details that Richard's got. That's the one. A really thin but good coat. I'm quite literally, my favourite brown is this. I've only got the brown bear at the moment, but it's usually the oak brown from the Army painter. It is dry brushed over black. You'd be surprised that you don't need much more after that, I find, for wood. And then I'll add some orangey browns afterwards for the very top bits. And then it's going to be either lead belcher or an iron, kind of a deep gunmetal from the Army painter or Citadel. And then just working up through the silvers. And then I might pick out some light highlights with some white at the end. That's it. That's all I'm going to do. How about you, Richard?
Me, I'm trying out Duncan Rhodes' Tooth and Coats plate armour this week because I've not had a chance to use that. And I'm also going to be using the Vallejo bronze and brass just to add a couple of little touches onto some of the higher pieces of armour.
Nice.
And like yourself, I will be dry brushing the shite out of it. Depending on time and how brave I feel, I might try something fancy on the interior, but we shall see how we get there in the end.
Yeah, I think I was the same. I was looking at the gaps in the armor, and I really like that it's hollow. This mini, the rib cage, the plating there is hollow, and you could really go up through the butt there. You could really go in, and you could spray that with an airbrush and get a glow going.
I think you could do good well if you went with the airbrush with a white ink or a white paint, go straight up through the middle and do that, and then get something like Hex Wreath Flame, the Tesseract Glow, or one of the Vallejo fluorescent paints, and then go over it with a dry brush, watered down. It would make for a great glow effect. Yeah,
I couldn't agree more, and I think I was considering doing that, and then I remembered this show is about being tabletop ready. And we want to showcase what a level 3 character do. Oh, Fluffy's come back in. No, Div, sorry. Fluff, guys, the plume on the helmet is called a panache. I think that's how you say it. Panache. 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 I don't know, however you say that. Yeah. Richard, if you are ready, I will get a timer ready. I don't think we're going to need the hour for either the combat or the mini today.
I still think we should try and use it, or at least very close to it.
Okay.
Because if we say that now when we're not ready, it won't look great.
Are you ready?
I'm ready to rock and roll.
Roll initiative.
Okie dokie. Let's do this.
So, for those of you listening, the animated armor. This is a CL1. It has very, very bad stats. So, animated objects, and this is directly from the Monster Manual, are objects that are crafted with potent magics to follow the commands of their creators. When not commanded, they follow the last order they receive to the best of their abilities, and can act independently to fulfill simple instructions. Some animated objects, including many of those created in the Feywild, might converse fluently about or adopt a persona, but most are simple automatons. They are constructs by nature, and any time that they are reduced to 0 hit points and other things, the magic ends and they become inanimate piles of unusable scrap. They have a really, really shit set of stats because they are a low base creature. Their best one is a strength at +2. But for initiative, we are looking at dex. I rolled a 9 + 0. So I'm going at 9. How about yourself?
I rolled a 16 + 3, so I am 19.
So you are absolutely 20. So we will set some scene and then go from there. You say you're a Dragonborn wizard, yeah?
I am indeed.
Okay, what colour? Oh, what heritage?
Heritage, I will be a black dragon.
Oh, lovely! One of the best. I really like. I like all Dragonborn, hence the name of the company and the tagline. So let's set a scene. Waterdeep is your standard medieval fantasy city. There are tall buildings with spired cathedrals and pointed roofs. There are districts of wealth. There are districts of poverty. Docks. It sits on the Sword Coast, sort of midway, just down from Neverwinter and up from Baldur's Gate. And you find yourself in the City of Splendor, as it is commonly known. You have been tasked. Actually, no, I wouldn't say you've been tasked. I say, like, you've had some adventures, and the party have ended up here. And you hear rumours that there are many treasures, even inside the city, as adventurers have either moved on or have left treasures for other adventurers to find, because adventurers are the most sought after kind of professions and people here in Waterdeep. They are celebrated, almost. And you find yourselves chatting one day in the Yawning Portal, which is this huge tavern in the centre of Waterdeep that is known for the adventurers that go there. And you hear a rumour that somewhere close by, a wizard's mansion has been left for nearly a century. And your party decide to see if they can explore it, as everybody else in the tavern claims that they've never even been able to get close to it. You make your way there as a party, and you all individually find different ways into this building, using magic, strength, whatever it is that your party has to get inside. And you find yourself, maybe you've used a magic item of some kind, maybe you've cast a spell and you've managed to levitate up to one of the top windows, dispel an arcane lock that's on there, and you make your way inside. You find a long, darkened, very dark wooden corridor. Unnaturally dark. It's daytime outside, and even the light coming in through the window is not giving you as much sight as you can. Do you have dark vision?
No.
You do not, as a Dragonborn. I knew that. I just wanted to ask.
No, it's just this.
Your eyes try to adjust to the dark, but it's hard. And it's just so unnaturally light in here. You definitely know there's like a creaking wood floor beneath you and these like stucco plaster walls. That's just, you can smell the grime and the just the mustiness of how old it is in here. But yeah, you stand in a corridor and you can't see nothing but about 10 feet in front of you. After that, the darkness swallows the corridor. What would you like to do?
I would like to cast Dancing Lights.
Okay, tell us how that looks and tell us, you know, how.
As my eyes adjust and I'm trying to sort of seek out any sort of any avenues of light and not being able to see some, almost sort of reach my hand to my long sleeve and have my clawed fingers swirl around my arm as I get 4 little orbs of light that go into existence and take up occupation around me.
Okay. What colours are your dancing lights?
They're just going to be daylight ones.
Just daylight.
Just white.
Nice. So you start sending those out around you, and I think that gives you an extra 10 foot, is it, of dim light? I can't quite remember. Because I know you can send them for 120 feet.
You can move the lights up to 60 feet. But yeah, dim light, 10-foot radius.
Around each orb. Okay. So do you start sending those out and forwards then, maybe like 40 foot ahead of you?
I will send 2 of them out ahead of me, yeah.
Awesome, and keeping 2 by you. So you send the first 2 out, and it gives you, 20 extra feet of field of view. So you've got the 10 foot from you, and then you've got another 20 on top of that, so 30 feet as these lights go out. And what you see are this long corridor, and there are like paintings on the wall, all of a robed figure whose face you can't see. There is clearly of some arcane nature. You would know that being a wizard. You can spot another wizard in a photograph when you see them. And
he's wearing a dress like me, is he?
Yeah, but it's it's very dark and ominous. You would almost like mistake them for a cultist if it wasn't for the fact that, you know, in these paintings they're doing different things, and one of them will be like they're with a group of people, and the group of people are all smiling, they've got arms around each other, but this hood's up and you can't see their face, but their arms are linked around the other ones. Another one is a picture of some kind of award ceremony, and then being handed a scroll and a key by what you would recognise as the mayor of Waterdeep. And just it goes on like this, and it's clearly the pictures and paintings of somebody's house. Let's have a quick look in chat. 2 seconds. Polo is white and its skin is black, but its fur is effectively white. Cool. We have a conversation going on there, I think, about a polar bear. Nice. Bobicus. Yes. So
Gerald is a bit of a I say a connoisseur. He is somewhat in love with fabrics and is decked out in the finest of garments. His wizard gown, as he likes to call it, is threaded beautifully and not a single fraying stitch. So he will admire the pictures and see if they are equally as well dressed in the possible chance of finding something to add to one's wardrobe.
Yeah, Gerald, give me an investigation check as you look through these paintings.
Ooh, I did it, 20. 14.
14, okay. I will say the DC was probably 10 because low-level encounter stuff. As you look through, you notice that, like, these are obviously proud pictures, and this obviously must belong to this particular magician, mage, sorcerer, wizard, whoever this is. This is clearly their abode, and you knew that coming in, that somebody of arcane nature once lived here. And you do notice that, like, although they're wearing the same robes in each picture, they do seem clean and they do seem nice. This person clearly had wealth. I mean, to have a property in Waterdeep alone is incredible, but yeah, you think that there is going to be wealth here somewhere. Do you move forwards at all? Do you stay where you are? So far, you see no doors.
I will press forward down the corridor.
Okay, so you send your dancing lights out and you start to begin making your way down the corridor, and you don't hear the rest of your party who have come in through different areas of the house or anything. It's just you and the creaking floorboards. Every now and again, you might hear like a rat scuttle around, and then you happen across, and it's an odd staircase. This whole wooden area is, like, the floor is wooden, sorry, and the walls are like normal kind of plasterboard stucco kind of thing. But right in the middle of this, like, 10-foot wide corridor is a stone spiral staircase as you get about 40 foot ahead of you that leads up and down.
I will head up.
You're heading up, okay. You begin to make your way to the next floor. But as you take a couple of steps, it's almost like you are transported. The room behind you where you were leaving becomes pitch black, and the staircase almost feels like it's twisting, like that of a corkscrew. You don't need to move, it's moving for you, and every time you try to take a step, something unnatural happens, but you know you can carry on. And this goes on for a minute or two, and the scene around you then begins to open up as you reach the next entranceway, and you end up in a grand foyer. And it's unnatural that you would be entering the middle of this room where the spiral staircase just seems to come up out of the floor as you come out. There is a large staircase that goes up, maybe 20 foot wide, that then peaks off in an arch to the left and to the right to banisters and balconies across the top. And lining the actual downstairs, there are 4 suits of armor, there are like tables, and just generally like an entrance lobby that to a grand mansion, bigger than the one that you should be in.
Okay. Cautiously, I will proceed forwards, worried slightly by the new measurements of this place.
Dibs is asking for a quarter-way paint check. So I've quite literally, I have dry brushed a darker silver, so this is your gunmetal, straight downwards, no other directions, onto the Mini. And then I'm using the oak brown across the wood and the floor and trying not to get that too far onto the boots because I want to keep that as different and clean as possible. And that's it. It's literally going to be dry brushing the entire way and just making sure we get those patches of rich brown on the floor because that's going to tell us a lot about the story. How about you, Richard? How are you doing?
Okay, I'm doing all right. I have dry brushed all over silver, and now I'm just doing a couple of little bronze and brass pieces, dry brushing over some of the patterns there.
Lovely. Yeah, so you start to proceed forwards. Where are you heading to?
Is there any doors or anything of note in this room other than statues?
Give me a perception check, please. While you do that, I'm going to move up to the next silver, which is the Army Painter plate mail. And the reason we're doing this is we're trying to give highlights to that metalwork. I could quite literally leave it right here and that would be table ready, but I'm going to go a little bit further with it. Perception check, Gerald.
16.
16. Okay, so what you see is 4 doors in this room. There are 2. One to the right, one to the left. They are flanked by suits of armor. And then there are another 2 on the balconies above you, directly above those doors. So you can either go upstairs to those ones, or you can go to the downstairs left and right ones.
I'm going to walk it upstairs.
You're going to go upstairs. Okay. You start making your way to the stairs. Nothing seems to be going on here whatsoever. It's oddly quiet. You make your way upstairs. Which way are you going?
Left.
Left, okay. You make your way around the upper balcony and make your way to this really ornate door. It's very, very rich, dark, almost walnut wood, and has this amazingly detailed handle. It's like gold with leafed filigree on it, which is just beautiful.
I will attempt to open said door.
Okay, you attempt to open the door. You go to touch the handle and it's unlocked and the door pushes away from you. And as you push the door away from you, you almost are compelled to step through it. You can't stop yourself. You step through and you find yourself in the door downstairs that was directly beneath this one, now flanked by either suit of armor as you step out of the bottom floor.
That is a little bit worrying. I step out of the doorway.
You step out of the doorway. Door closes on its own behind you.
Okay, I try and reopen the door to see if it will open up to a different location.
As soon as you touch the handle, the suit of armor to the left, almost like there was somebody in it waiting for you, moves. It draws its sword and it just tries to slash down at your arm with a surprise attack. A surprise round, you get a reaction basically as a player in D&D to make whatever your triggering action is to go off. So you don't get a full round, you only really get a reaction. They get a slam attack basically rather than a sword attack, but we're just going to flavour this one and say it's sword. So it's going to make an attack roll against you. That's cocked. But it's there you go. So that is a 3 plus their strength. So they get a strength and proficiency to this one. So they get a +4 to hit, and that is going to be a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to hit you.
No, actually, it doesn't hit me.
Okay, so this like suit of armor just begins to move on its own, and this like sword like comes to slam down. How do you block, deflect, dodge? What do you do to stop this from hitting you?
Letting out a slight squeak, I basically drop to the floor.
You going prone?
It's literally a case of I duck, as it's trying to hit me. I drop down to knees, and to not be hit by such a nasty thing.
Okay, I thought you were saying you're going prone. Then I was like, whoa, hell yeah!
No.
Wizard lying down on the ground. Okay,
yeah, I wouldn't do that to myself.
So we are now in combat. You see this suit of armor And what was just like this ornate suit is now glowing with this like purple and green magic from the inside. Its arm joints, where there should be like flesh or the clothing of a knight underneath it, there is nothing but this glow. Its gloves, its fingers, everything is just held together by strands of this purple and green lightning as it's like as it like comes to clatter and move towards you. But at the top and around it is your go. Gerald, what would you like to do?
Okay, with my vast complement of spells that consist of Identify, Illusory Script, and Dancing Lights. I've got Chill Touch. I will cast Chill Touch at it.
Okay.
As I sort of pick myself up and dust off my my knees, I will reach out my hand and sort of cup it in the air to create a ghostly skeletal hand in the space of a creature within range. I make a ranged spell attack against this creature, and as this hand sort of coalesces in the air, I push my hand forward to sort of strike at it.
Okay, make the attack roll. Or do I need to make a saving throw?
No, it's a ranged attack of 19.
19 is going to hit. So, for those of you watching, the animated armor, with it being a CR1, actually has quite a high armor class. It has an armor class of 18, and it's classed as natural armor because this is its skin, basically. What monsters in the monster manual tend to be is one of the three, which is either high armor, high HP, or high attack. That tends to be like one of those is the golden thing, and for this one it's its armor at this level. But at 19 hits, as you send this chill touch towards it, how much damage do you do?
I do. Now this is the thing I'm a bit concerned about, because it's necrotic damage.
Give it a go.
So I do 3 necrotic damage to it.
What colour is your necrotic damage? Like, how does this hand come out? Is it just literally the hand, is it?
The hand comes out and it's sort of like a green-red, smoky sort of energy that coalesces into the air and forms with immaculate green crystal fingernails.
Nice.
As it then strikes out.
That's really cool. So the hand just like grabs, like it's where like the heart would be, you imagine, for the inside of the chest cavity, obviously of a normal creature, but on this you clearly know it doesn't have a heart. And you watch as like the armor like sort of judds and shudders. Doesn't seem resistant at all to that. It takes the 3 points of damage, and then are you doing anything else?
I move. Do I have anywhere to move to sort of get cover in between me and this thing? Any sort of stands, any shelving that I can move to and get out of the way?
So it's the downstairs of the lobby. There are these 2 tables. There's one on either side of the staircase. They're like small and short, but you could like tip one over and get behind that.
That's it. I want to try and keep as much distance between us as possible and have something to run around comically.
Nice. So, as you move away, it is going to get an attack of opportunity against you, as they do have reactions, just like any other creature. So, something I should point out as well is the false appearance ability. So, while the armor remains motionless like it was before, it is indistinguishable from a normal suit of armor. But it's going to make a slam attack against you. That is a 4, plus it's 4 for an 8.
It misses.
Okay, it goes to like just slam into you and you manage to get away and tip the table and hide behind it. But if that is the end of your go, it is now the animated armor's turn.
Yep.
And I will show people what I'm doing. So I've taken that plate metal and I've gone over especially like the tops of the pauldrons, tops of the shin guards and the knee pads, and especially over the very top of the like hilt and the base of the blade, so that they're like the most shiny areas, and we're letting the primer and the gunmetal do most of the work in the shading and the shadows areas. I may add some colour to the horns just to make them pop. I don't know yet. However, that's all we are to that one there. It moves up to the table and you are currently behind it, and I will give you partial cover, so I will give you a +2 to your AC, as it's not an intelligent creature. They have an intelligence of 1, which is a -5, so they just beeline it to you, and they try and hit you. So it's got a multi-attack, so it gets to make 2 attacks. This is its other bonus for such a low-level creature. The first one is going to be an 18 + 4 for a 22, but is at disadvantage. 7 + 4, for a 12. 7, no, hang on, 11. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11.
Misses.
Misses. Okay, the second attack. Look at me, math. Well, I don't think we're going to get lower than a nat 1.
Ouch.
14, so it's a nat 1. And I will say that I wouldn't normally do critical fumbles in D&D for my regular players, but it's kind of fun right here. It goes to slam into you again, but because of the table, it just trips over it, and it ends up sort of like hunched over it, and we'll class that as prone. It is your go.
Okay, I will end up, I think, doing the same again, casting Chill Touch. Actually, no. Is it within touching distance of me?
It absolutely is within touching distance of you, as it tried to get you over this table.
I'm going to cast Identify on it in the attempts to find out where its power source is.
Okay. You cast Identify. How does it look when you cast Identify?
As it sort of fumbles down and goes down, I will reach out lines of sort of purple and blue arcane energy spiderweb up my hands, the tips of my fingers as I touch it, and my eyes will glow slightly.
Okay, so with identifying, usually this would work on an object or an item, but actually this is classed as a creature while it is animated. However, I will give you something because you are spending a resource, and I think spending a resource does mean that you should get something for it. Or, as a DM, I would say, don't do that, you would know it's this. You know it's an animated object, and at the moment it is acting as however it was enchanted to before, and this means that it is going to just try and attack you for whatever reasons it was programmed to attack you. It clearly is marked with magic, but there is no power core. It's not like a technological item or anything. It's not like a piece of magitech. This is just like you, arcane magic, and you know that this thing needs to be destroyed or dispelled, or anti-magic be used on it. So, and this actually brings me on to the other thing that you should know about animated objects. Anti-magic susceptibility. The armor is incapacitated while in the area of an anti-magic field, which you know anti-magic field is a spell. If targeted by a dispel magic, the armor must succeed a constitution saving throw against the caster's spell save DC or fall unconscious for 1 minute. So, you would know as a spellcaster that you could dispel this and run away from it. Or you could dispel it and then try and drop it to 0 hit points, and it would be, the enchantment would be lost.
Would be great if I had that spell.
Ah, looks like you're going to have to destroy it.
Yeah.
So, is that the end of your go? Do you move anywhere? Are you staying behind the table?
I will move, sort of stay behind the table so that I am obviously away from it as best as possible.
Okay. So, the animated armor is obviously right next to it. It's hunched over. It's trying to get up. And also try and lash out at you at the same time, but it's clumsy in how it behaves and how it acts. Hagley, are you painting the plume on the top of the helm? I called it a plume too, Hagley. Yes, I probably will be doing. I'm going to do that in a red, and I'm going to do the horns on it in a black or a brown, maybe. But I'm just getting those areas of gunmetal on there, and then we'll be doing the plume just to give it a little bit of colour pop. And what was it, Dibs? What was the name of the actual plume on top? I think you had it earlier on. So the first attack it's going to do is going to be just trying to lash out at you to try and knock you prone. It's just trying to grab at your legs. It's just doing anything it can to hit you. This will be at disadvantage because it's prone and you are not. First roll is a 13. Next roll is a 6 plus 4 for a 10.
That misses.
It misses. So it goes to miss you there, and then as it tries to like scramble up, and it's really loud, it's like the loudest thing you've heard in this building so far. It manages to get to its feet, so that'll be half its movement gone. It has a movement of 25 feet, so it's now down to 10 because we round that down when we halve things in D&D. And it will try and shove. It picks up the table and just tries to throw it to one side out of the way, and that'll be interacting with an object, which is going to be its second action, and that is all it can do. But it stands there in front of you, no table blocking now. A panache! Hagley is what we worked out earlier as the plume on top of a suit of armour is called. Right, I need another brown. And Gerald, the Dragonborn, you are up.
Okay, I am going to...
While you do that, I'm going to be using fur brown now just to add some reds to that wood on the floor, and this is to start making the highlighted areas look a bit more raised.
Okay, can you make me a dex saving throw as I'm going to expend the use of my breath weapon?
Yes! So, I'm going to get a description of this in a minute. The armor, as it stands up, it like shoves this table and like throws it out of the way like a barbarian or like some kind of just like unthinking beast, and you can tell its sole target is to get to you. It has a really low dex modifier, like we found out when we rolled initiative, of 0. It does not have any advantage against magic being used against it like the Solars did or anything like that, so this is just a flat roll. It is a 4 plus 0 for a 4.
Beautiful. So as it throws the table out of the way, I will arch myself back, sort of thing, away from possibly having a table thrown at me, taking a brief millisecond to thank whatever god I might think to thank that I'm not getting some large piece of wood impaled upon my face, and I will take a deep breath as my chest expands, like glow of light on my throat, as I will expel fire out of my mouth.
Okay, so are we is this like you're reflavoring the black ancestry from acid to fire, because that's what you want to do with that character, or would you like to keep it acid?
That's really wrong. It should be acid. So yes, I will basically my throat will expand, and the gurgling sound of acid coming up as I expel acid all over it.
No worries. The reason I've given Richard that choice as well for anybody watching is because different Dragonborn ancestries have their particular dragon colour in terms of breath weapon and immunities. And so, like, Richard as a black Dragonborn would be immune to... resistant to acid damage and would have an acid breath weapon. However, you can change those. If you want to be a black dragonborn with fire breath, you absolutely can be. Just talk to your DM beforehand, talk to your GM, and just say, hey, I really like this look, but I want this immunity, and it should be absolutely fine unless they've got a real stick up their arse. But I wanted to give Richard that choice there. So, definitely going with acid, yeah?
Yep, definitely acid.
So this kind of like putrid green and yellow acid just expels out, and it's a 15-foot cone, isn't it?
In a 5 by 30-foot line.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it just and it like spits out. It fails to think, and this acid just coats this suit of armor in burning acid, and you can see it interacting with the magic. Roll damage for me, please, bud.
Okay, we are 2d6 acid damage, so roll 1, 2, then.
Right, I'm going to grab another brow.
That is an 8 acid damage.
8 acid damage. Okay, so you see the armor smoking, but the enchantment's holding it together, and it doesn't seem to be pitting just yet. Again, you don't feel like it's taken less damage than it should have done. There's no resistances there for it. But yeah, another 8 damage on there. So we are down to that much. Okay, cool. Anything else from you? Any bonus actions? Any more movement?
I will move to the other table if I can.
Yeah, tip it up and get behind it.
Yeah, and try and sort of set myself there and get ready to cast my next spell.
Okay, so as you move away, it is going to get another attack of opportunity against you as it tries to slam into you again. 16 plus 4 for an unnatural 20.
It hits me.
Okay, so as you move away, it just slams its hand into your back as you and feel it. It's going to do 3 points of bludgeoning damage. So their damage is actually quite low, which against a wizard is actually pretty good. It's a d6 plus its strength modifier of 2. So again, a CR1 creature, it's going to be really low, which is really awesome, to be honest, for low-level encounters or dungeon crawls. So
3 points of damage.
3 points of bludgeoning damage. As you move away from it, you manage to flip the other table up on the other side of the stairs, and yeah, you are now again behind cover there as it then just tries to charge up to you. I did say there were 20 feet the stairs wide, so it takes 20 feet of its 25 feet to move towards you, and again doesn't seem to recognize the table just yet. It's focused on you. I will give you partial cover for this first attack. Let's see what happens. That is a nat 1 again. Same thing. It just stumbles into the table, ends up prone, and goes to make its second attack with disadvantage. 5 and an 8. 5 plus 4 for a 9.
Misses.
Misses. Yeah, again, these things are clumsy. They're not smart. You've noticed so far that it seems to have one goal, and it's to be attacking you. You're up, buddy. You're up, Gerald. Give it a go.
Right, okay, I'm going to do a chill touch again.
Yep.
For a 16.
16 hits. Oh, no, sorry. They have an armor class of 18. My apologies.
Ooh. Okay. I will use the chair in between us to... Can I run up the stairs?
You absolutely can run up the stairs.
The table in between us, sorry. Wrong choice of words.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I'm going to run up the stairs.
Okay, so again, as you because you have to run around the table and leave its engagement area. So it is, again, after it's just had its go, it now has another reaction to try and swing out at you. It's prone, it's at disadvantage. 7 plus 4 for the first one, and a 5 plus 4 for a 9 again. So it misses you. You manage to get up the stairs, and you are now at the top of the stairs and 30 feet away from it. You watch as... Again, silently, all it is this clatter of armor and this sound of magic as it tries to once more get up to its feet, and you just hear it's like it doesn't need to kick the table or anything because you are up the stairs and essentially behind it, but it spends half its movement getting up, and it has to dash to get to you. So it would be half its movement, which would take it down to 10 feet. It can then get 10 feet up the stairs. You are still 20 feet away. To dash, it's another 25 feet. So it can only just get to you, and you can see it's like rearing up to swing at you, but it's not quite there yet. Sure, go, bud.
Okay. I'm just going to have to go for chill touch again.
Yeah? So, I mean, do you have anything else on you? Do you have any, I suppose you wouldn't have items or a quarterstaff or anything like that?
I have a staff, but that's nothing to write home about. I've got
low attacks.
My breath weapon. I've basically I use the predetermined spells.
Ah, okay.
So there would be other spells if obviously I was.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing about a random character. I guess it's one of the things.
That it hasn't issued me any second level spells.
If you've got second level slots, you've got to choose those as a wizard.
Level slot.
I will let you choose some second level spells. I think you get 2 at third level. Yeah. Dibs is like drop kick it back down the stairs, and that's kind of Dibs what I was aiming at. Like you could try this, but the problem is the class that he's got as a wizard, strength is usually the dump stat, whereas for the animated armor, Richard knows this is meta, and I've given it away earlier on. Its strength is its strongest stat with a +2 to it. So chances are he is actually going to lose that battle. So what he's doing is he's playing the wizard smartly by trying to work out what he can do, keep his distance from it, try and get the cover between things to get the AC increase because a wizard's AC is shite. But they are all about their spells. So yeah, Richard is playing it absolutely perfectly. And as a DM, it's okay to give your players little nudges, like, have you got anything else that you can use? You know, if you think that they might have, like, things with, like, a staff and they could try and think cleverly around it, like, trying to trip it up and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. You know, go out there and do those kind of things. But, yeah, Richard, how are you looking on spells?
So I've chosen a couple of spells. Yeah, and obviously, again, strength is not not a fun part of this wizard's retinue, as it were. So it's always one of those things, trying to think around the brawn.
But you do have the high ground.
Well, even if he was strong, Gerald doesn't like to get up in people's grills.
No, absolutely.
The nervous side.
So what I'm going to do now, just for those watching, I'm going to go in and I'm going to do some of the Shining Silver from the Army Painter, which is a lovely bright silver. It's like a white silver, white grey. And I'm going to just hit the very tops of everything, and then I'm going to go in and do the tabard, the panache, and the horns in a red. So, what are you doing there, Gerald?
Okay, I am going to sort of, well, I say roll back, move back slightly.
It's going to get that attack of opportunity on you.
Well, I'm not going to move out of range. It's basically I'm just stepping back slightly.
Oh, okay, so it's a flavour thing, yeah.
I will move back. I will move back once I move. I'm going to rub my hands on my thighs and generating a little bit of heat as I then pull my hands up to my chest, and I will basically throw out 3 scorching rays.
Oh, nice one. So, that's a good description. I like the warming up the hands. So, that is an attack roll for each one, is it not?
It is indeed.
Okay. Armour class of 18, bud.
Right, okay. Nat 20.
Yes! Okay, roll damage first, please, before you do the other ones.
Okay. 20 points of fire damage.
The first hit, it strikes into the chest of this this creature, this suit of armor, and you watch as like it just begins to glow. The fire kind of like disrupts some of the magic inside. Like one of the gauntlets fall off as the magic between its wrist and its hand seem to just dispel for that almost a second. It starts to like limp as it tries to move towards you. It looks pretty bad. Next attack.
Okie dokie. Misses. 15.
15 is definitely a miss, and it's not necessarily that like your spell is off target, but like you weren't expecting it to take so much damage on the first one, and as it stumbles, the second spell just like whiffs past it, and it manages to, luckily, through no fault of yours, miss.
Next one's a 19.
And a 19 hits. Could you roll damage?
Thank you. 9 damage.
How do you want to do this?
Oh, so as I charging up the first ball, and it shatters out against it, and obviously it sort of moving back and out of all the way slightly, threw off the second ray as I twist round and launch the next one out as it takes it straight in the chest, almost leaving like a melting metal mark within its chest plate.
Nice. And as soon as that hits and that happens, bits of the armor just start to fall away, nothing holding together, no straps, and they just clatter, ting, tung, 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 down the stairs, and just you are left once after like 20 seconds of this clattering in complete silence. And that is where we'll end that combat.
Beautiful.
And that's that. I mean, the animated armor, for those of you watching, is a fantastic dungeon filler, especially if your party splits up, which they so often do, and you don't need to try and beat your players. You just want to give them things to take away some resources, make them think about things as we get towards those final boss fights and those final things at the end of the dungeons to make the dungeon crawl worth it. And yeah, I love the animated armor, and I love the way that like you can use them as puzzles, you can use them as combative things, you can use them as traps. Yeah, Richard, well done. You absolutely played a wizard perfectly, and utilised that really well.
Also, with the lower combat rating creatures such as this, stuff like that, if people would do bear in mind that those combat ratings are only a guide. At the end of the day, you can chunk up a creature such as this. If you wanted it to be a real nasty thing, there's nothing stopping you from doing that or giving it, a little tweak or a little ability here or there.
Yeah.
The ability to reform. One of the things I've done with them is one such as this, where the armor pieces are floating. One I had was basically able to encase a player.
Nice.
So if they failed their saving row, the armor would Iron Man the armor all over it. And every round would either constrict and crush, or would basically start to cook them in the armor.
That's amazing.
All you could see was the open faceplate of them basically being melted.
See, the other thing I like about that particular thing is you could have it like every time the players attack it to get it to give out as well, like half that damage is transferred to the player. Like you can really make them dangerous.
You've got to think then. You really got to...
Yeah, absolutely. And I really like that. You could also and what Richard's on about is like reskinning monsters or buffing them up. And I spoke about the Magic 3 earlier, and this is hit points, armor class, and attack damage. And if you give one thing, take it away from somewhere else. If you up all 3 of those, you are just fucking your players. Whereas if you were like, it's got an armor class of 18, so we know it's made of metal, we know it's hard to hit, it's designed to be a chonky boy. So, okay, we're trying to up the CR, we're trying to make it heavier and harder to hit. Make it a 20, make it a 21, make sure that only those highest dice rolls of the D20 are going to make it. Maybe up its damage with that one as well. Okay, it's hard to hit, it hits hard, but lower its health. You know, make it an acceptable amount for the party to be able to deal out, but don't be like, and it's got 500 HP, because then they're just not going to have fun. Whereas, like, if it's dangerous but can be killed quick, there's a sense of urgency. Whereas if it's easy to hit and it deals low damage, up its HP, so the fight lasts a little bit longer and they have to think around things. That's how I like to use the magic 3.
Yeah, bring balance to it, so that if you're gonna make it stronger, its movement could be even worse. So it could be easier to trip up in a situation. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, something in the environment can be used against it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think that's probably why it only has a speed of 25. So that like characters can outrun it. You know, gnomes are going to struggle and dwarves are going to struggle with a movement speed of 25. But, you know, dragonborns, humans, tieflings, all of those, they're going to do all right. And you could literally, like, you can burn its action economy because it hasn't got much. It's got the 2 attacks, but only if it makes an attack. So if you run away from it, it has to dash to get to you. Then it's only getting its attack of opportunity, which is what Richard was doing, which is a fantastic way of playing this creature. You've got 17 minutes, Richard, by the way.
Beautiful.
How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm alright. I'm pretty much finished on the main model. Most of the base. I'm just going to outline the base, finish the plume.
The panache!
And I'm going to slap a bit of hex wraith flame inside the helmet where I put some white paint earlier, just to add some sort of
lovely
odd effect.
So I'm about to do around the base in black. I've quite literally added to the panache, however you say that. I will look at this pronunciation later and then text Richard a voice message or something.
Yes, please.
I've quite literally used the 3 silver triodes, dark silver, medium silver, light silver, to dry brush on in the light areas and leave the shading underneath the arms and the legs. We've got a corn red, which is it's one of the darker reds for the panache and the tabard. I will dry brush that with a lighter red and maybe highlight with an orange if I've got enough time in the 16 minutes. And I'm just going to put a black border around that base. The actual other one that I've been doing is a suit of armor that Richard sent me on its own. And what I like is you can use minis like the animated armor or bits like this terrain piece to just leave on maps. And I will, once I take a picture of these after this show, I'll put them in a building, something like the encounter we've just had, and I'll show off how they can be good terrain and also good monsters to fight. But yeah, Richard, dungeon filler. Like, obviously we're on the animated objects as part of the next few episodes of the show, and I know that next week we're going to be doing the flying sword, which you've also printed out for me, which is that one there. How do you find animated objects? Like, what do you do you like?
I have a lot of fun with them because I play a lot. Some of my players are very seasoned, as in have been playing since 2nd edition. So I like to add in the breadcrumbs of what is an expected fight with extra flavour.
Yeah.
So, you know, I will have the animated object. I will have the very obvious, that suit of armour there, that looks really ominous. And it's sometimes I won't do anything with them.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same.
One fight I had, they were actually in the Vale of the Dead and got to a safe patch, and there was a building they were heading up to, and outside the building was these 2 massive statues holding big swords. And as they got closer and closer and closer, the eyes started to glow, the armour started to glow, and then they got ambushed from behind by bone claws.
Yes!
So, yeah, and obviously so focused on the statues, didn't have the awareness or the, you know, from behind as these things attacked, and then they got a surprise round.
Yeah, I like that. And I like, maybe you could like add something into the story there where like the statues are guardians of the city and they glow when you're about to get attacked or when somebody's about to be like unknowingly done, and that was actually like maybe a history check to know that. And yeah, I really like stuff like that. It's fantastic. And yeah, I think you're right about like not doing things with them. I very often or not put suits of armor everywhere, especially in wizard towers and dungeons where like in castles, and players are like, I'm gonna check this one, is it magic? I'm gonna use detect magic. And then it's like, and you do need detect magic to see them, or you need something else, but like putting chests in places that don't belong and inanimate objects gets people scared. And it's that meta knowledge where they don't want to meta game, but they fucking know.
Yeah.
So that's like a good play on that. The other thing I like is using them as servants. So I used the flying sword as a flying knife in a kitchen that was tasked to like cut meat and vegetables and stuff like that. I've had animated armor reskinned as a fridge, which I actually used the Gorgon stats and the animated armor stats, and it had like a cone of cold that it could do. And the rug of smothering I haven't yet used, but I love it. It's one of my favourite monsters, and I can't wait to get to use it. And I'm looking forward to painting it because the minis you sent were amazing, and I know exactly how I'm going to paint those up. But yeah, you have 12 minutes. I'm going to grab my other red out, but I'm pretty much done, man.
I am pretty much done. A little bit of a drip of this on the horns, and then black outline on the base.
Nice. I'm not going to get cocky and do the OSL on this just yet. I'm going to leave it at table ready because I will start it and I won't want to finish it. And I still need to finish that Solar from last week because it's the only one so far that I'm like, I'm finishing that model. I'm going to do it.
Yeah, we need to do a stream with that. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah, so guys, if you saw last week's show, and if not, if you're on YouTube, go back and watch it. And we painted up Solar, and in all fairness, it was a Loot Studios, and there was no way we could do that table ready in an hour. Maybe an hour and a half, but it was just so hard to do it and fight it at the same time.
You were painting Soul, weren't you?
Yes.
So that's Artisan. Yours was Artisan.
And yours was Loot.
And mine was Loot. And he's still sitting there. He's ready.
Mine's up on the shelf with the rest of the ones. And, God, I don't think I'll be able to get the camera around in time. Let's see if I can. I don't know if the camera will go around that far. PTZ, where are you? Sorry about the mess in the studio if I end up showing this off. Let's see if I can get the camera to turn around. Let's go that way. Bip-a-dip-a-dip-a-dip. Messy, dice making stuff. All of mine are going up there at the moment. So, yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
And I'm lining them up on my terrain bit, but yeah, it's... let's turn that back around here. Having fun with this camera at the moment. Right, and then I will try and get the last of this red done. I'm just waiting for that black to finish around that base, because I like to... I do this with Warhammer and with Legion. I like
always
to...
yeah, edge the base.
Yeah, so that you've got that like definitiveness, that definition between the two areas of the mini. So let's put that in there, because we've only got 10 minutes. But what's nice about this one is it's nice and small, and for those of you watching, if you are trying to do this table ready, you're done. It's fucking out of here, bro. Go fucking throw it at your players. But if you want to go a little bit further, and you want to be a little bit extra, I'm just going to add some highlighted areas of red, just on some of those top bits.
I'd say it is one of those ones where I have maybe been a bit more fancy than I need to, because at the end of the day, if you needed 5 of these ready for a session, you could literally just dry brush them silver.
Yeah.
And then they're away, and that's 5, however many models within a certain amount of time, you can get it done.
Yeah, exactly. And these could very easily be done en masse that quickly. And I think the great thing about dry brushing, and I know a lot of people don't like it, is that you are going to get a good table ready mini. You don't need to use a wash. You don't need to wait for it to dry. You can just layer up through those dry brushes and let the primer do the work. I can't understate that. It's so good. Like, I love the primer doing the work. Oh, I nearly dropped the mini.
I didn't even need to, didn't even have to worry about zenith or this with this on. Literally just left the primer black, and that was it.
Yeah, exactly. And in all fairness, For those of you who don't know what Zenithal is out there, this is where you prime it in a dark colour, then you hit it from the very top with a spray of a lighter colour. And this allows you to get like the lighter areas to be richer and stuff. But actually, I only really find, for me personally, that works when I'm using like really thin layers of stuff or an airbrush.
Yeah, it's when you're watering down and you're building up layers and bits and pieces. Or if you're like me and have no idea of light and stuff like that, it helps you to see where the light would catch, and the pieces of any sort of flesh or armour need to be lighter.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think that that's literally all it is. I am going to make those horns red because I've got the 8 minutes to go. And I really enjoy... I do enjoy dry brushing. I really do. And I think when I need to get a mini out real quick, it really comes in helpful. And the bigger minis, if it's not an angel or something that has skin tone, so anything that's like metallic or anything that's like a vehicle, it really works. It really, really does. You know what? I'm going to make his pommel red as well. There we go.
I didn't think of that. I'll do that, actually.
Nice little pop on the sword, you know? Little dip of the red! I've been watching a lot of Troy Valley recently. I'm like, dip!
How long we got?
Oh, 8 whole minutes, Richard. 8 minutes. And right now, guys, like, we're just flavouring bits. Like, these are clearly tabletop ready.
Oh god, yeah. I'm adding just where I can and what I can now.
Yeah. But I mean, that's, you know, little bits of red here. Nice little danger colour. I like that. And you find like a lot of red on wizards in D&D and stuff like that. And especially like if you're in like Faerun, like I put Richard in Waterdeep here because it's just a setting that first came to my mind. But any homebrew settings. But there are the Red Wizards of Thay within the Sword Coast kind of adventures and stuff. And yeah, I just wanted to do that. Maybe I'll put some gold. No, I'm going to leave it. I'm done. I'm not touching it. 7 minutes left, and I'm calling it there for me.
You're cooling it, are you?
Maybe I'll get some orange on it. I got some Troll Slayer. I'm going to throw some Troll Slayer on it.
Doomfire magenta for the hilt.
Ooh! Is that the contrast?
Yeah.
Lovely. So I've just done something I really shouldn't do, and that's lick my paintbrush. Just to get that point back. I really have to stop doing that. So I'm taking like... Oh, after you.
No, I can't help but lick my brush. It's almost a tick. I do it all the time.
Yeah, I've got to stop doing it. I'm just going to add little tiny flecks of orange to those reds, because obviously orange works as a nice highlight for red.
What orange have I got to hand?
I'm using Troll Slayer. It's the first one I grabbed.
So I've got Troll Slayer somewhere. There he is. Troll Slayer.
There we go. Now he's done. He's not going any further. He's calling it there. And that is that. Metallic pops over black base coat. Yeah, Hagley, it really does, man. Hey, how you doing? Sorry, I didn't get to say hi to you earlier. Yeah, it's really easy to go with. And what I like about like a black base coat and then going up through the silvers is that you only need to dry brush. You don't need to think about the thin layers. Just get as much off the brush as you can and add more in little bits. If I really wanted to, on this mini, I would do what Richard's done and I would add some OSL to the faceplate, or I would take my favourite thing to do, which is that contrast black, the Templar black, and I would paint in the black lines underneath each of those segments of the armour on the stomach area, because I'd really want those to be separate and defined. But for table ready, I really don't need to. And I might get another one of these at some point and do all of the OSL on there. But I mean, I'm very happy with how that's gone. I really like the wooden tone of XV88, fur brown, and the oak brown. Dude, man, this is printed so well. I love those like little broken bits of wood.
Yeah,
yeah. And then I just leave the area beneath and around the shoes or the plate, anything that's touching the base plate, as the darker brown to leave the shadow. That's all of mine. How about you? You all done?
I'm all done. I do need to get a better quality camera.
If you put your hand behind it, sometimes it makes a difference. I like that green on the face.
I'll take some better pictures afterwards. So I went for a little bit more of a colour scheme because I thought it might have looked a bit boring. So I ended up getting the rough iron air metallic from Army Painter.
Yes.
And going on to some of the Under Armour pieces. But I then gave it a light dry brush in chainmail silver as well, just sort of over.
Yeah.
Magenta on the hilt. I did got the old red on the plume. And yeah, I went for a bit of a green face, just as a bit of fun. And I even got a little bit in the chest plate that I thought I'd try and.
But that's awesome because I think
be brave with
that really adds to that magical effect, that glow of like the enchantment to animated objects to be able to give it that OSL look. So let's have a look. The Lion of Kamare. Hey, how do you feel about Yorad? I'm unsure as to what that is, so do let us know. You're at Audible Gotham. Ah! You're adorable!
Oh,
Well done.
very well done.
Oh. Oh, I liked that a lot. That's like the up dog.
That's it. What's up, dog?
Yeah, and I love that you got the green in there on the face, and that, like, I think for players when they come to a table, I certainly know I like to do it as a DM and as a player. When something goes down, you're like, yeah, cool, that's table ready, it's good. But when you've got like little bits, you're like, oh, look at the glow, and like that, like if you can get players engaged and excited, that's is where I think it really makes a difference. But yeah, I guess we can call it there for the show today. So look at that. We had time to kill at the end. You nailed that encounter, and we managed to get. And to be honest, I'm pretty proud.
Actually got the model done. It was great.
I'm pretty proud of how well that's gone. I'm going to move my mic back out of the way as I just keep grabbing it. Yeah, I would say
I'm chuffed for that. I'll go straight on the table.
Yep, table ready and a little bit more. Very happy with that. Guys, once more, thank you so much for tuning into the show. I love it, and I'm sure Richard loves it when you guys take part in the chat. Especially like when people like come like, do this, do that. It's amazing. You know, we're not going to follow your rules, but we're going to, we do enjoy the engagement. And Richard, again, if you want to let people know who you are, where you're from, and how people can find you, I know that your link's in the chat, or it should be coming up every now and again, and people go check out his printing if you need him. But who are you?
I am Richard from Warrior Prints 3D. We are a 3D printing company. We are on Etsy, Instagram, Facebook. We are now on Shopify. We handle anything from little minis to 75mm collectibles, statues, cosplay, anything you can think of. If you can't see anything on the store, or you're ever curious about anything, please drop me a message, because I will always do my best to see what I can help with.
There you go. And I've used Richard for a few different 3D printing things, and I 3D print. And I say this every week, like, I print myself at home, and yet I still go to Richard for things that I want done really well. So, like, for me personally, like, if you don't know who I am, I'm Ian, I'm the Dragonborn Bard, and I run Dragonborn Industries, which is this little channel. We've got the YouTube channel, we've got our own little dice making store and merch, and I also do a little bit of 3D printing, and I'm very proud of the 3D printing that we do. But Richard's on such a high level and like of quality that like working with him and having things like this, dude, is just incredible. And yeah, he helps me out getting my printers calibrated and set up, and yeah, it's just an all-around nice dude, so you should all go check him out. Give him a follow, and...
Thank you. And yourself as well, you know.
Yeah.
Don't sell yourself short.
Oh, no, I'm fucking amazing.
That's it.
This show is just an hour of me being narcissistic. So, no, it's awesome to have you guys in chat, and awesome to have you guys following us on the channel. Any likes, follows, subs, anything like that is always appreciated. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. I'll put links in the description below to Richard's channel and to Richard's page, so that you guys can go find him for 3D prints there. And next week we'll be back with the flying sword. Richard, you on for next week?
Of course, indeed.
Your hours up, paintbrushes down.
Around somewhere.
Sorry, the timer's going off to say that the paint challenge is over. Yeah. But yeah, so this is the flying sword that Richard printed and sent out to me for next week's one, because although I'm going to try and do this with every WizKids mini that they've got possible, they haven't done the entire monster manual, so I need Richard's prints. And they're so stunning, dude.
What is our next big creature, just out of interest?
Let's have a look. So we're currently on page we're on page 19 of the Monster Manual. This was episode 6. We've got the Flying Sword, the Rug of Smothering. Then we've got the Onkeg, which is a large creature, but it's not that large. The Azer is after that, but they're a medium. The Banshee, Basilisk is medium. The next huge creature is a Bahia.
Okay.
Which should be relatively easy. Then we're on the Beholders.
That's it. That was it. Beholders. Okay, so when we get to the Beholders, we will run a giveaway. So whatever Beholder I print, I believe is an Artisan Guild one, I will give away one of the to whoever is in chat.
Oh, I like that. Okay, so we'll get to that in a couple of weeks, and we'll try and promote that as much as we can, I guess. And yeah, that's awesome, Richard. If you want to do that, we can absolutely do that and promote it. Beholder Book Nook, says Dibs.
No.
You get back in your box, Dibs. You get back in there. Yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll put this up on YouTube, and we'll see you next week.
I haven't got a book near me.
We will put this up on YouTube, and we will see you next week.
The next week, guys.
Take it easy, guys. Bye.